It's time for Class Racing Today, the podcast for the NHRA class racing fan. Welcome back to Class Racing Today, classracingtoday.com, classracingtoday@gmail.com. If you have any questions or comments, you can send them there. If you want to help support the show, you can do that by deciding what you get out of the show value-wise and going to classracingtoday.com, click on the donate button, and you put that dollar amount in there. Whatever it is that you get value, whatever that number is, you choose. We don't tell you what it looks like. You get to decide what that is, and we appreciate all the help we get from all the listeners of this show. It's episode 68. Brian, as the year progresses, you are closer and closer to having an actual drivable car. How's it going? What's going on in the car world?
Like, it's so close, I can feel it. Almost. I can almost feel it. Like, starting to schedule. Like, all right, can we get into Brainerd? Will I be ready for Brainerd? Do I take a untested combination to Brainerd? Like, I've done crazier, dumber things, but my mental goal is I want to go to the Ottawa MCR Midwest Class Racers race, which I believe is the 26th-ish of July.
Oh, all right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that would be, all right, so I can go there, make sure everything's working correctly, and then it's off to the races.
Then buckle up. Is that what you're saying?
It's terrible.
Maybe.
But no, yeah, it's kind of exciting. I, after our little trip to Rock Falls, I'm definitely less productive because that's all I think about now. But
well, and before we went to that, you had heard a little bit from your engine builder that all the pieces were in. Now assembly was to begin, correct?
yes.
And since then, what info have you gotten?
I don't get a lot of info, which is what I really appreciate, because there's no
is that the goal?
There's no fake promises or hopes and dreams. It's like, in terms you can think of. So think of like Christmas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the tree got put up when I talked to him the other day. I was pretty excited, like all the parts are here. So it's like, okay, Ma just put out the Christmas tree, so something's coming. Now we're like to the stage where presents are starting to appear under the tree.
And it's closer to Christmas morning. Is that what
we're
going
to be tearing into them, and
Christmas in July. That's what it's going to be.
Is that a thing?
Well, yes. I think it's a marketing ploy for retail. That's what it actually is, but that's all right.
I could go down a long twisted road there, but we'll just avoid that whole scenario.
So that race in Ottawa is July 23rd? 23rd and 24th.
You know what? Did you look it up? Is that official?
That's on their website. The Hot Rod Havoc 2 plus Midwest Class Racers Stock and Super Stock.
That's gonna be one you don't want to miss. If you've never been to a Midwest Class Racers event, you want to go there. Ottawa, we had Gary on. He's put a pile of time and energy into that track, and it's gonna be a really well run event for a decent payout. If you want to see what the Midwest Class Racer is all about, you haven't been there, that would be a great spot to go try out.
If you want to hear from Gary, it's episode 61 of this show back from May. So just a month and a half ago, pretty much.
Time flies.
So yeah, it's crazy.
It seems like it flies faster when you don't have a functioning race car, but
that's funny.
It'll be all right.
So it must just scream for me all the time.
It kind of does.
Right.
So that's cool. Well, we have a fun show today. I want to get a new kind of up-and-comer. I don't know if they're an up-and-comer. See, most people start like in the bottom and work their way up. And I guess we could argue this kid's doing the same. So today we got Parker Theobald on the show. Parker, how's it going?
It's going well. Just living my best life out here. I get a break off of work for an hour or so. So what could be better than that?
So this might be our first 4-hour paid show, right?
Right.
That's all right too.
How long did you need?
Well, if we could make it 10 hours, that would cover my
Nice.
whole day. So,
Well, the value you receive from the show is going to be 50% of your acquired pay.
oh, okay, that works for me either way. I'll pay to miss work as well.
Yeah, you got to split it with us. Well, that's awesome. So how long have you been in class racing?
Class racing. I just barely got my stock eliminator car at the beginning of the year, so I've been racing stock for 6 months ish.
So you got 3 races?
We've had, I think I've raced half a dozen or so races in the car, but only 3 or 4 of them were stock eliminator. The rest were just bracket races trying to get seat time in the car.
You can't bracket race a stock eliminator car. That's what everybody says.
I'd beg to differ. You can bracket race anything.
They're the best bracket cars ever.
Absolutely. I mean, stock eliminator is just a bracket race, right? So
you don't really fit the mold. Do you feel like kind of an outcast when you pull up with do you feel like you're undercover driving a stock eliminator car, or do you?
I mean, not really. I mean, everybody out here who runs bracket races has some familiarity with class racing, because that's like all we have out here is NHRA races, and there's not much bracket racing action unless it's a local point series. So if you race bracket racing, you pretty much race with the racers that race in NHRA. So.
Because I did a little research on you, and you came from the whole pipe rack / lawn dart path.
Yeah.
It looks like you're pretty darn good at it too. I mean, Super Comp. You've won what, 3 events?
I've won
3 final rounds.
I've won geez, I don't remember now. 2 or 3 divisionals, and then I've won 2 national events and a division championship, and then a handful of big money bracket races.
And then so even better yet, as according to Drag Insights, and when you go to the top dragster, you're 1 for 1. You're 100%.
Yeah. I usually just race Super Comp, but at the end of the year last year, I sold my Super Comp car because I knew I was going to be getting my stock eliminator car this year. And my sister, she's got a super gas car and a dragster, and she blew up her top dragster motor in the dragster. So my plan was to run Super Comp in her dragster. So we threw another engine in it, and the entry list for Pomona said the quota wasn't going to be full for top dragster. So I decided just to jump in there because why not? And I ended up winning top dragster national event, in the only national event I've ever entered in top dragster. So
that's pretty good. I don't know if anybody else can say they've got that kind of win percentage.
I'm sure there's a couple people that could manage to jump in a class they've never been in and go out and win.
So let's back up a little bit. What was your start to racing?
So I grew up in a family of racers. My oldest siblings, I have 5 siblings. So when my brothers turned 8 years old, we kind of needed a family hobby, and we tried horses at first, which that didn't work out, and I'm kind of grateful it didn't. And so they started racing junior dragsters, and this was before I was ever born. So my older brothers started racing, and my sister got into it, and then sooner or later we all had juniors, and then we all kind of graduated into big cars. Actually, my mom was the very first one in our family to race a big car, so to speak. And so after she got she got behind the wheel, then it kind of just snowballed after that, and now my whole family races. So
that's awesome. So
I
what's the
raced
spread?
juniors.
What's the age spread on your siblings?
So my oldest brother is 15 years older than me. So 15 years to me.
So you're the baby then.
Yep. I'm
So
the youngest.
you must
I'm
have
the
really
accident.
you must have really
Did you say the accident?
Yeah. And when I say that, I'm not joking, because
Oh no.
my parents did everything they could with the doctors to try and prevent me, but I was a good swimmer.
Just had to get out of there. Come on.
Yep.
I'm sure they wouldn't
But,
trade you for the world.
yeah, I'm the best accident they ever had, I say.
I'm just trying to think of like how that worked. Like if you did literally took 5 junior dragsters all of the track, like your parents must, but you guys were old enough and spread out that it wasn't. What was the most amount of junior dragsters you had at the track at one point in your family?
So I actually never raced junior dragsters with my siblings, because I mean it goes 15 years to, and then my next older sibling to me is 7 years. So when they were in juniors, I was just getting born. So when they turned 16, I was just starting juniors.
Yeah.
So I think
So
the most we ever had was 4 at the track, 4 juniors.
But I watch people with 1 or 2, and that's a lot.
Yeah, that's my dad got burnt out with my older siblings, so that's why he never took me. I probably have less than a dozen junior races, and most of the time my brother would take me. So
Got all the equipment, got it all scienced out. Nah, we'll just skip this one.
yeah, me and my older brother would actually throw my junior in the back of a pickup truck and have the front half of my junior hanging out, and we would travel down to Vegas and down to Fontana, California, and hit a handful of events. But we looked like the Beverly Hillbillies rolling up every time.
Did you have success?
I probably have a dozen or so junior races, and I probably won half of them. But like I said, my age gap between my siblings is 15 years and 7 years. So by the time I turned 8, I already had all their mistakes and their successes in my head. So I think I had an advantage going into juniors and coming into big cars, learning from my older siblings and my parents as well.
So did they still race big cars, or how'd that transition go from the junior to the big car?
So actually, all my siblings, so I have 4 siblings, but one, we all race big cars. My older brother Dallas, he's been racing off-road dirt bikes, and now he's getting into the off-road like trophy truck type stuff. So he's kind of gone a different route than us, but he still races. And then obviously my other siblings race dragsters and super gas and super comp. So we had, I think, 8 big cars at one time, but we've kind of sold a few off and updated some dragsters, got some new ones, and obviously the Stalker.
So do your parents still actively race?
About when Tanner, my older brother, turned 16, he kicked my dad out of a dragster because, I mean, my dad's just that kind of guy. He wants us all to have fun and be successful. And my mom took a step back when I was younger to help raise the family and be the mother in our lives. And I'm actually really grateful for that, because I mean, I've got the best parents in the world, and they support us big time. Occasionally my dad will jump back in the driver's seat when one of my siblings are gone, or things like that. But my dad was actually a really, really good racer. I think he raced 3 full seasons of Super Comp and didn't lose a first round in all 3 seasons. So that's just the success he had. But my parents take a step back, and they're just out there to support us now.
That's pretty cool. So tell me, like, so when you got into the super comp car, what made you want to get into a Stalker?
Growing up, my dream was always a door car, and I had plans of, hey Dad, let's build a top sportsman car. Hey Dad, let's build a roadster or some sort of super gas car. But the way the pieces fell, when I was 14 or 15, my brother got T-boned in his dragster, and so that car went into our shop, and it was bent up and crooked. And then he got a new dragster, and the time I spent from 14 to 16, me and my dad rebuilt that dragster, and I jumped into it. And I mean, you can kind of see that's the car that we fixed up behind me, and I, starting at 16, I got to race that. So that's kind of the story of how I got into super comp. But going from the super comper to the Stalker, back to I wanted to be in a door car. Like a year and a half, 2 years ago, we needed to, we thought we needed to update kind of our cars because they were all 15 to 20 years old. All the dragsters were, at least. And so we made plans to build 3 new dragsters, me and my 2 brothers, all identical, so that we could predict off of each other, we could dial off each other, we could, see what they ran, and oh, hey, go tell them it's 200 quicker than we think. So, but right before we pressed the order button, I was like, hey, Dad, we have that 1969 Barracuda sitting in the shop. Like, it's just sitting there. My older brother Dallas, the one that races the trophy trucks now, he used to race that. That was his car, and he lost interest in it about 10 years ago. So it's been sitting on the lift at the shop and collecting cobwebs. And I was like, what if instead of I got a dragster, why don't we put that thing together, and I can race that in stock eliminator. And at that time, I don't want to sound cocky because I'm not that kind of person, but in the dragster, I was getting kind of bored. I won division championships, I won national events, and I was ready for another challenge. And so far this year, bottom bulb, stock eliminator, all of that aspect, doing big wheelies, burnouts, it's a lot of fun, but it's definitely the challenge that I needed because it is kicking my tail.
So was the car, how much of a race car was the car when you started the build?
So the car was actually a Stalker before I got into it. It was, the way we had it, it was fairly competitive. It was like a 60, 70 undercar. And the engine was torn apart, obviously, because we needed to refresh it. And that's when my brother lost interest. But when we decided to put the car back together, we we're like, the best guy for the job with Mopars or Chrysler engines is Steve Wan. So we've been talking to Stevie, and he took the car from us a couple years ago. He built us a brand new engine. He went through the car, put new suspension on it, wired it. He did everything for us, and now we have a 110, 120 player, and that's not even pushing it.
So that's a pretty serious piece of hardware then.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. We're pretty proud of it.
What are some of the things you think you're struggling with? What are the main differences?
Well, in a super comp car, all you got to do is press the button and let go when you see a flash. But me having the super comp mentality, when I see the flash and let go, now when I hit the bottom bulb, I'm having a tough time going green because my reaction is so quick. Now I have to slow the car down, and I'm doing everything I can to keep my reaction green. Another thing is at the finish line, I'm used to going 180 miles an hour. So when I would rip the gas, my momentum would still carry me. So I've been struggling this year giving the stripe back because when I rip the gas, it's killing a lot more than a dragster. So those small little differences that you just got to learn with seat time. But Mostly that.
Yeah, it's gonna be way more fun though when you let out when you in the stalker when you do the wheelie, and I mean that part's got to be 60 foots are probably a little different, but still got to be a pretty cool feeling.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more fun and a lot more driver control, and more races are won by the driver than the car.
Or do you have a hard time getting the car? I mean, is the car running pretty consistent, or do you, as far as
Um,
predicting and dialing and all that, is that a lot different than the dragster or not?
so I mean, I think it's consistent. I just need to figure out what the weather's worth, so to speak. So my dragster hardly moved around because it was set up. I mean, you can buy any part you want for it and put it on and make it whatever. But with the stock eliminator, obviously you're limited to carburetors and different things like that. So just learning the characteristics of the car and how it reacts to different weather is quite a bit different than a dragster. So I'm just learning that right now, and hopefully put that into play towards the end of the year.
Well, then you even take like the wind into effect, right? Like you go to Vegas, it's got to be a little different having a actual car compared to a dart. You know, the wind's going to be more effective on it.
Yeah, that's another one of the hardest things that I've come to notice. Like in my dragster, you could go, oh, 1 mile an hour is worth 0.0015, or where now in a stock you're like, oh, 5 mile an hour is worth 800. It's like a huge difference with that, and a tailwind and a headwind are different in my car, and I some people say the headwind's worth 5. Some people say it's worth 10. So you just got to figure that out for yourself.
Well, then just when you have 4 dragsters running, like you have a massive amount of data where now you're the one man band out there collecting data. It's a little tougher too.
Yeah, and I'm the guinea pig because stalkers are out first round. So uh, just I mean, my data is probably not going to help them very much, but it's still something.
So you like the official black sheep now, or are they all secretly embracing the stalker lifestyle?
Uh, my siblings are pretty supportive, and they've all been glad to see the car back out on the track. But I think they would all want to race it. I mean, we're all down to drive anything, so uh, I'm not the black sheep. I just going about racing a little different.
That's cool. What like what are your thoughts as far as like, I mean, obviously you're one of the younger people when you pull up into the lanes of stalker. Like, how do we get more people out of pipe racks and lawn darts and into stalkers?
That's a great question. I think the first thing we need to do is look at why they're not getting into stalkers and super stalkers, and I think the main reason for that is affordability. I mean, you can get into a dragster and a complete turnkey car for 25, 30 grand, whereas a stalker, if you want to be competitive, you got to have that much or more into a car. So I mean, there's people that are extremely competitive doing it different ways, but one of the things I've noticed out here on the West Coast is, and we didn't plan this or anything, but a lot of the kids my age that I race super comp with, 2 or 3 of them are like getting into stock and super stock, and I was like, wow, like we all just decided to do this all at one time or what? So just look at the problem and see how we can fix that. But
You're kind of in shark infested waters over there at most events you go to. I mean, there's some real hitters where you're pulling up to.
yeah, we got quite a few fantastic stock super stock racers. I mean, we got a lot of top 10 players here in Division 7 and Division 6. Obviously, and Justin Lamb and Jody Lang, just to name a few, but that's not all.
And that probably makes the learning curve a little steeper, but on the other hand, you're accelerating it too.
Yep.
What what's your schedule look like? I mean, I know COVID was pretty tough on you guys over there, but are you having a full season this year?
Yeah, we'll have a full season this year. It's kind of weird out here on the West Coast. We hit it really hard in February, March, and April. So they had Pomona, Phoenix, and then a handful of races at Vegas. And then we take 3 months off for the summertime because it's hot and nobody wants to race. And then we'll hit it hard again September, October, November. We're gonna head to Sonoma at the end of this month or end of July, and then we'll have a little break. And then September we start back up in Bakersfield, California, for a division event. Then we'll head to Vegas for 3 or 4 weeks and race divisionals and the national, and then close it up with Pomona.
So are you making changes now in this kind of downturn, or are you just hanging out?
I've been pulling up race pack graphs, seeing if I can make converter changes or what I need to do jetting wise. But Stevie's got us pretty close, just small amount of fine tuning changes.
So tell us about your combination. What are you running in that car?
Okay, I got a 1969 Sea Stalker with a 440 in it, so a big block car. We got the Pro Trans 727 in it, and that's about it. It's advertised horsepower is 375 and it's factored at 345, so we got some there.
Is there a lot of those running, like cars like yours?
Actually, there's quite a few. Steve Wan built an orange one, same car, 69 Barracuda, that Austin Williams currently owns. And then Doug Duell from the East Coast, he has one with a 440 combination as well. I think there's a couple more, but I'm not sure who the owners are.
Guessing you run probably Caltrax on the back.
Yep, Caltrax. They're pretty close to us in California, so it's a great way to set up your car, and it's quick and easy, so not much fabrication to do.
Now, like, I know you're still figuring this car out, but do you have any desire to go up to super stock or anything like that?
Yeah, I would love to try super stock. I'm used to super comp with a button in my hand, so super stock would be pretty fun hitting the bottom with a button. But obviously they do way big wheelies too, and they're a little quicker. But super stock would be a lot of fun, and I would like to give it a shot. But we're gonna try and figure out the Stalker before I go anywhere else.
Was there any conversation about just going to super stock instead of stock, or just didn't want to change the car up, or what were the thoughts there?
I would do super stock, but I mean I don't feel the need to 4-link the car and tub it out, and because if I'm gonna make it a super stalker, I'm gonna go all the way and make it a super stalker, not just a stalker that you can run in super stock. And plus the car is already super competitive in stock, so I don't need to go changing unless I run out of parts, right?
Yeah, that's there's definitely something to having. I mean, a lot of things are sorted out. You got the right guys working on it, so that definitely. I don't know. I could see buying like a GT car that's already cut up, but a car like yours, I'd have a hard time chopping on it, I guess.
Yeah, and I see a lot of the super stalkers online for sale, like the Cobalts and the Sunfires, and to me that's an ideal super stalker.
What are some of your thoughts as far as NHRA side? Like, what can they do to help grow?
I've actually been thinking about this a lot lately on how to get the younger generations. I mean, I'm pretty young, but like the kids younger than me interested in coming NHRA racing. Um, Out here on the West Coast, I don't know how it is on the East Coast, but we have a pretty big junior community, and they go to all the junior divisionals there is, and Western Conference finals, and all that. So we have a lot of younger people interested in drag racing, but I think we need to integrate the juniors with the big cars more. They run national opens, but if we could have a series where the juniors qualify to come race at divisionals here in Division 7 or Division 6, and then the crowds obviously get together and hang out, and it just brings them, oh hey, when I'm done racing juniors, I want to go race the divisional series and get the opportunity to race at national events and things like that. So like I said, integrate the juniors into our divisionals, and obviously people hang out and make friends at the track, and it's pretty easy to persuade drag racers to make the next step.
It's a series of bad decisions sometime that lead to the end result, right?
What was that? I'm sorry.
I said it's like a series of bad decisions that always lead to the end result.
Yeah, a lot of bad decisions.
But it's pretty cool you can do it with the whole family though, and it is family oriented. I mean, that's the neat thing about it.
Yeah. A lot of times my dad meets with people and he's like, man, like, you spend a lot of money on your kids, like, why don't you ever or spend it on something else? And he's like, well, like, my kids aren't in jail, my kids aren't uh doing drugs or anything like that. So like when we're drag racing, you don't have any money to do bad things, I guess. So, and it keeps us together, and my family's really tight because I'm pretty sure it's because of drag racing. Because I mean, we get together on the weekends and work in the shop, and we when we hang out at holidays, we're always talking about racing, and just it's something that brings us all together.
So when your family goes to the track, does everybody have assigned jobs, or you just worry about your own cars, or how does that work?
Most everybody knows the routine, and we take care of our own vehicles, and we dial our own vehicles. But anytime we have a question, it's, hey, what do you guys think the weather's worth right here, or what do you guys think that I should do in this situation on who I'm racing? But everybody kind of just picks up the slack wherever it's needed. Um, mom's the team chef because nobody else can cook, but other than that, there's not really any designated jobs.
Of course, now you're on your own. So
And
what do you
dad's
guys
the
think I
truck
should?
driver, so
Now that you're on your own in your own class, what should I do? And they'll
yeah,
just shake their head like, ah. But I'm sure they enjoy it too. Like
well,
when you got a heads up, you got a big team behind you
the
to help.
golden rule is just, yeah, a lot of pushers, and they just give me a thumbs up and tell me good luck. That's the advice I get.
That's I got a friend, and every time you go in, he's like, "Don't suck." I'm not sure if that's supportive or not, but okay, I'll try. You know, coming into the stock super stock and with the NHRA, what's one rule you'd like to see changed?
I mean, you and Bobby always talk about True Start, so so I think that in the top bulb classes like top dragster and top sportsman, True Start needs to be in effect because you both leave off the same flash. So uh, you should be able to hit the tree and do that thing. But in stock and super stock, the bottom bulb classes, comp eliminator, um, the person who leaves first, I believe, has an advantage because they get a clean tree. And people always say, "Oh, but the other person gets to chase." But I think having a clean tree where you don't have to watch the other person leave and count before you hit the two step or any of that outweighs the chasing. 10 times out of 10. So put True Start in, but leave it out for the stock and super stock guys.
I would definitely agree that it takes. Okay, so as a slower car, it takes a skill set to be able to see how fast you're being, overcome, being able to judge a stripe against a faster car. Like, that's something. But it's just as hard to come up on a slow car and judge a stripe. And not to mention the whole time you're sitting there waiting, like, all right. And they go, like, how do you not react? Like, I argue that it's more difficult to drive the faster car, but we'll just say we're right. How about that? We can do that.
Everybody's right if you look at it from different perspectives. I mean, maybe when I'm the slower car, I want True Start on, but not when I'm the faster car.
That's at least it's good for controversy. That's the one thing we like about that question.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different opinions, but it's honestly personal preference. Whatever the rules are, that's what I'm gonna race by, and I'm not gonna get angry over it or mad about it. So.
Well, we definitely appreciate you coming on today, I guess. Is there anybody you want to thank that helps your program, or anybody you want to shout out?
Yeah, I got a pretty good backing behind me. First and foremost, my parents. They provide me with a car and the transportation to get to and from the track. They're the backbone in our family racing, and I honestly could not do it without them. My siblings, for being the team players and helping me whenever I need it. My wife, she puts up with me leaving on the weekends and always talking about racing and going to the shop and working on that.
This must not have been new information before you got married, right?
Yeah.
She knew you came with this baggage.
Yeah. I was like, I love you and I love racing, so we're gonna have to work this out. So
it's generational. I can't help it.
Right.
Yeah, it's I inherited it, so it's just part of who I am.
Let's call it a genetic disposition.
Yeah. Steve Wan Racing Engines. He built me a really fast car. K&N oil filters and air filters. They support our whole family, providing us with product. Hoosier tires. They're a big help, especially when you have quite a few cars, with tires and stuff like that. I don't have any sponsors, so if you want to sponsor me, you can get in contact with me. But that's the people that I need to thank, and obviously thank you and Craig for allowing me to be on your podcast, and it was a humbling experience, and I'm grateful for the opportunity.
No, it's cool. It's always fun to especially get the young blood coming in the sport, just to try to not balance out the old guys, but to show that there is interest across the spectrum. So
yep.
Thank you.
Obviously we couldn't do it without the people before us. So I'm grateful for the people who brought stock and super stock to what it is today. It's a lot of fun, but I'm always open to change.
Yeah. Well, thank you again. We hope you have a good. Sorry, you don't get all the day off from work, but part of it at least.
We still got like 5 more hours to do.
We still got time. That's right. We're in the southern edge of Utah. Is that high desert? Is that what that's called?
Yeah, it's pretty deserty.
Yeah.
It's 106 or 7 out with less than 5% humidity, so
Whoa.
It's pretty deserty.
That's crazy. Well, thanks again, Parker, for hanging out with us. We wish you the best as you go forward in this racing endeavor, as you continued. Remember to put your wife first. The car can be second, but she gets to be first.
Yep, he's always first.
Excellent. Thanks a lot. We appreciate everyone for hanging out and listening. ClassRacingToday.com, ClassRacingToday@gmail.com. Remember, if you want to help support the show, you can do it. You choose the value you get out of the show. Turn it to dollars, send it our way. ClassRacingToday.com. Click on the Donate Today button. We thank everyone who helps us out to make this show better and continue it on. We'll see you all next time. Have a great week. See you later.